Please welcome Ken LaRoe.
These are my grandbabies, Rhapsody and Arcadian, aka Pookie and Bubby. I was always a committed environmentalist, but boy did these little guys provide laser focus. I think the earth is going to be in pretty bad shape by the time they grow up and have children. But I don't ever want to have them have to ask, Grandpa, what were you thinking? I just turned 60. I've been saying 60 is the new 60 because I don't have much time on this planet, nor do I have much patience. I don't have patience for tree huggers who show up at a climate event in an SUV. I don't have patience for people who talk the talk, but don't walk the walk. This was my first big business endeavor, Florida Choice Bank. We started in '99, sold it in 2006, right at the peak. I wish I could say it was brilliance or prescience, because then I could replicate it, but it wasn't. It was just blind luck. But that bank taught me a lot. It taught me that I had to do more with my life than make a bunch of people a bunch of money. After we sold that bank, my wife and I bought this mini motorhome and we'd travel cross country. That trip through all the national parks just reinforced my commitment that I needed to be a rabid environmentalist, no matter how much that offended people. After all, we don't have time to waste, and we can't be subtle. Before I left on that trip, my brother gave me this book. It's the autobiography of Yvon Chouinard, my hero. He's the founder and owner of Patagonia. Yvon overcame all odds to start one of the world's first values-based businesses. It became my inspiration. I thought, if he can do that in the clothing business, surely I can do that in the banking business. My granddaughter does the cutest narration of her book. Bear hunt, I'm not afraid. Starting and running a values-based business is scary, but you can't be afraid, because doing well by doing good works. The battle for our charter was horrible. The FDIC said it was a niche bank and they wouldn't approve it. But I knew I was right, and I fought ruthlessly. Then on December 22nd, 2008, I got an impersonal email that basically said, here's your charter, leave us alone. I sat at my desk and cried. This is me in front of our first building. Building and running a values-based business is really hard. It's hard because you're basically running a for-profit and a non-profit at the same time. But you have to stay true to the mission. It's doing well by doing good works. It works in every business. This is where we are today. This is a bucket list dream come true for me. I'm just a redneck boy from Eustis, Florida, and now I've got my business name in lights in Orlando. I'm blown away. This is our new headquarters. It's pending LEED Gold, and our solar panels will produce all the energy that we consume. This is our mission statement. Notice that it's simple and direct. It distills to the essence our commitment to our planet, our people, our community, and our shareholders. Through this mission statement, we strive to change finance to finance change. This was a real turning point. I'm at my first meeting of the Global Alliance. I'm sitting at a conference table with bank CEOs from around the world. They were Muslims, Buddhists, Christians, you name it. They were all there doing really great stuff. And I just couldn't wait to get home from that conference and start working on other problems than just the environment. And then I got home, I saw this. And you know, as an environmentalist, you have your work cut out for you when the science-denying governor forbids state employees from saying climate change. And at that point, I realized that people weren't outraged because they weren't paying attention. This is a Florida sunny day flood. I don't think we can fix it. Here's why. The coastline of the Netherlands is 280 miles long. They're spending $1 billion a year for 20 years to hold back the sea. The coastline of Florida is 1,350 miles long. Do the math. One day I pulled in the bank and the employee parking lot was full of SUVs and pickups, and I thought, what the hell? This is just wrong. So to try to entice them to drive efficient cars, we gave them 0-rate loans, and then to pay the payments, we rented space on their car for advertising. So how cool is that? In 2015, the Department of Labor said that the living wage in Central Florida was a little over $29,000. We rounded it up to $30,000 because it sounded cool. When I rolled it out at the staff meeting, I expected applause, but instead I just got blank stares. And then the people that just got a big raise started smiling. Sometimes your motivation has to be personal. We're the only bank in the state of Florida that banks the cannabis industry. And here's the reason why. My wife, Dr. Cindy LaRoe and soulmate, suffered a traumatic brain injury in a bicycle racing crash, and she developed a seizure disorder. After everything else, cannabis was the only thing that cured the seizures. I actually had a shareholder say to me one day, "Kenny, this green thing, this is the most brilliant marketing ploy I've ever seen." I said, "David, you know that's not why I'm doing this. But the cool thing is, your business will do well by doing good. As this chart shows, we're one of the top performing banks in the state of Florida." It's been said that a capitalist democracy is arguably the best social experiment, the most successful social experiment of all time, but it has no soul. There needs to be something to corral the greed. Take the organic food movement as an example. It wasn't mandated by government. It was through good people voting with your wallet. When we started the bank, we had an environmental mission, but over time, it morphed to include much more. But I sometimes wondered if we haven't tried to do too much, if we shouldn't go back to our roots, because after all, there is no planet B. To paraphrase Yvon Chouinard, global climate change is happening. If we're the cause of any of it, we're also the solution. You have to protect what you love. You have to take action. Don't vote for dumbass climate change denying politicians.